It's gonna be a 24/6 news and opinion website. Starting it on a shoestring. We have a juicer campaign to pick up $35,000 from readers for initial costs, and it's doing okay. We just started yesterday or a couple days ago, and money is coming in. We're looking for investors so that we can create a serious online presence. The target audience we're going after is probably the religious through traditional community in the swath between Arutz Sheva and the Forward. Kind of what I did on the Jewish press. I don't know if you've been following for the last 2 years until they kicked me under the bus, which we can talk about. And I'd like to do the same thing with fewer restrictions. You know, there's the nice thing that I can do and that I think our target audience would like to celebrate is the fact that we have our feet firmly standing both in the Jewish halachic world and in the culture at large, and we enjoy both. And while being fairly conservative, right-wing, Zionist, religious Jews, we can also hum a Beatle tune and, read Terry Pratchett and not feel that there's a dichotomy there. And I'd like to appeal to that entire target audience that right now does not have a fun news website that has our views but also has a sense of proportion and humor and that's it. I ran out of adjectives.
So why are you doing this? What's driving you?
It's what I do. You know, I did it on USA Jewish. I then did local magazine on the Lower East Side. Then Jewish Press. It's, you know, that's what I do. I enjoy looking at life out there, politics and society, and bring across what appears to me to be the halachic point of view, but always without taking myself too seriously. And I think that's the appeal of my writing, and that will be the appeal of the website, hopefully with more voices than just mine, both in opinion and in reporting. As soon as I got fired, I was flooded with offers for reporting work, and I started kind of following up on it, and then I said, why the heck not do it myself? Why should, it would kind of be a step back, regression to go back to working for someone else. This could be the opportunity. God willing, this will be it.
What were the restrictions that you worked under when you worked for the Jewish Press?
The Jewish Press is a troubled publication. I'm talking about the print publication. It's facing a dying readership, and it's facing fierce competition from the Haredi media and also from the national religious pro-Zionist media in New York, on their home turf. So they used to own it, and they still have a very good reputation in terms of being able to deliver, responses to their ads, etc. But they've long since stopped being meaningful in terms of covering what's out there in the Jewish world. And they're also stuck in a political line that I guess made sense in the 1980s, where being frum, quote unquote, was kind of being Haredi without the black suit. I think the definition of what is frum today has sprang in so many different directions that the Jewish press was no longer able to manage the stuff that I was bringing them, the views that I was bringing them, which were, I don't know if I should call them liberal, because the word liberal is a bad word in American political exchanges today, but maybe small L liberal, a curiosity about what's out there, and also a sense of honesty. I wrote. Do you remember Menachem Stark, the case of the Jewish, the Hasidic landlord or slumlord, depending on your point of view, who was abducted and murdered? And I wrote an article that kind of asked how a frum Jew, a God-fearing Jew, could treat his tenants in the way that was described in the media, and I was ordered to take the article down. So something that was really inoffensive, not provocative at all, trying to really ask honestly, what gives, was killed. And like that, there was an article. Now there it was, because obviously what happened was that a Haredi advertiser called up and said, "How can you put something like that on the Jewish press? And I'll pull my advertising if you don't take it down." And I was told to take it down. There was an article I wrote about the circumstances were that there was Rabbi Lior. I don't know if you know him. He's in Hebron, associated with the settlers movement. He and a group of rabbis sent an open letter to John Kerry warning him that he should not make himself an enemy of Israel. And today, after his most recent apartheid quip, you can understand a little more about that criticism. And it was a very aggressive letter, open letter. And the OU and the RCA issued a statement that was condemning this letter and favoring Kerry, and saying that Kerry was a good man and that they had his ear, and Israelis could do better than criticize him. And I was offended by that. I really was. And I wrote an article rebuking the OU and the RCA for kind of following the side of their bread that was buttered, and not. The question was, where will they stop? Are they going to stop when there's another? Are they going to protest when there's another Gush Katif in Judea and Samaria? So. Turns out that the OU has about $150,000 in annual advertising on the Jewish press, or something like that, and nobody wants to piss off the RCA. And I was rebuked and told to take it down at once, and how can I even think of criticizing stellar and sacred institutions like the RCA and the OU? So the wiggle room that I had as a reporter, journalist slash opinion writer was becoming narrower and narrower. And last straw was when there was demonstration of Haredim against the IDF draft on Wall Street on a Sunday. And, absolutely everything that was being cited from, by the AP and by other sources in conversation with people at the rally was false, was really false, creating the impression that the state of Israel is doing war against Torah, and that the aim of the Israeli government is to extinguish Torah learning. When today Israel is the biggest by far center of Torah learning on the planet, and where scholars who are also soldiers is what we have, and so much important work is going on in Israel in Torah learning that to say something like that is ignorant, insulting, and to run a rally of 50,000 men with that as the slogan was infuriating. And so I came out with a headline that ran something like 50,000 Haredim demonstrate so that other Jews will die in their place, or something like that. Art Scroll and another Haredi advertiser immediately demanded my head. I mean, this was too much. This was, you can say the emperor is naked, but that he's naked and ugly is intolerable. So immediately I was fired. My bosses ran an apology online, and that apology became the hub of up to 1,000 comments of support for me, and condemnation of my firing over an opinion. They also said that this was a rogue article that was not pre-approved, and that was a lie. We have a system of approval, and I submitted it, and it was approved. So, over since the start, it was clear that there was a gap between myself and my type of journalism and the Jewish press. The thing is, when I was hired in February of 2012, the team that was there had already brought it up from like 10,000 page views a month, which is where they'd had it, to about 100,000 page views a month. And working with the chief editor and the sales team and the writers, we brought it up to about 1.7 million by the time I was fired. The website that was hemorrhaging money when I arrived is now in the black, actually making money. So I did everything right. I did what I knew as a professional needed to be done, and I did it in the idiom of, a conservative, religious Jewish newspaper. But I think that I was a stranger and a foreign plant from the start, and my success was offensive to them. The better I did, the worse they felt about it, because I think especially the owner that I was dealing with regularly, Naomi, the daughter of the founder, Rabbi Klaus, I think both feared and loathed me, and we barely had a civil relationship. she saw me as taking away control from her. And she was the owner. And in the end, as has been my experience, I'm sure yours as well, no matter how right you are, the owner wins. So it was kind of, a friend in shul told me right after I was fired that everybody knew that I was going to get fired. The question wasn't going to be over some opinion that I voiced that would get me fired or over embezzlement. Got away easy. You got fired over an opinion. So there it is. How have you been?
I'm good. Let me just ask you one more question, and then I'll turn personal. What do you think of, say, the Failed Messiah website, and are there any Jewish blogs that you read?
I think Shmaria is doing pornography. And in other words, he serves up a slab of meat on a regular basis. Never mind our personal relationship. I think he's a dedicated and gifted blogger. I think he knows how to generate excitement, and I think he knows his readership. He just kind of deals with the kind of stuff that it's so pessimistic. It's so constantly searching for the evil that lurks in people's hearts. This is not to suggest anything factual about his reporting. It's just that to just serve up these Jew-diddled child kind of story on a regular basis, every day, so many times a day, to celebrate the moral failures of people. What can I tell you? I couldn't do it. It's like the old joke about a New York taxi standing in front of a crosswalk, and a little old lady is walking very, very slowly, and it's already red for the pedestrians, and she's still crossing, and a guy in the back starts honking, so the taxi driver gets out, takes the keys from his car, goes over to the other guy and gives him the keys and says, "You do it, I don't have the heart."